Wait, what? Why is this happening? I'm sorry, this thing costs how much? Yep, it's official. This is the weirdest streaming product I have ever reviewed. And what's worse, it's not even Cooler Master's fault, because they didn't make the darn thing. But we'll get to that in a minute. We need to go back. Let's go way back. A couple of weeks ago, I was given the opportunity to review the Cooler Master Stream Engine as it neared its launch. One of their French brand accounts first tweeted teasers of this thing. Many of you inquired with me about it, and then their PR reached out about review. Perfect timing. Seems like a great opportunity. The streaming PC alternative promises a great value. After all, I'm the Stream Professor. I've reviewed nearly every capture card on the market to help you get the most out of your streams. You should hit the subscribe button and notification buttons so you can stay informed. The Stream Engine arrived and promptly set here for a tiny bit, as most products do. I've always got a million things on my plate after all, but I was excited to review this. A video mixer and a streaming box that you control with an iPad seems fun, if not limiting on potential buyers. The Stream Engine, which is deliberately spelled weird, is a tiny little streaming PC. Effectively, it features 3 HDMI inputs, one for up to 4K 60 video, two for up to 1080p 60 video with a real-time pass-through on the 4K input, and a program monitor view output as well, allowing you to view the full stream layout. It has gigabit Ethernet for broadcasting out to the world, a USB 3.0 port for recording to USB hard drives, and RCA and quarter-inch audio inputs. Not XLR, quarter-inch. You likely need to run your microphone through an existing preamp or mixer to use it with this box. Weird choice. But it's small, lightweight, and even has a handle built into the stand. The front of the device features your control for the stream. Audio dial, scene switching buttons, streaming control, a fader, more on that later, and transition buttons. This thing looks like a mini TriCaster or something and seems really awesome. I proceeded to use and test the thing, however, excitement came crumbling and crashing down. This thing is not great. Man, where do I even start? Well, let's start with the HDMI inputs. I said 3, right? 1, 2, 3. Well, it's actually 2. You have the 4K input, which seems to be the only one meant for your gameplay since it's the only one with pass-through. It supports up to 4K, 60Hz, SDR only. It does 1440p 60, but nothing above 60Hz at any resolution. Okay, that's workable, if not very PC-friendly from the PC Parts Company. The second inputs are 1080p only, though they don't have the EDID to tell cameras that they exist, so if your camera is set to 4K/1080p auto, like my A6400 is, it won't even detect that a monitor is connected. You have to manually set it down to 1080p. Not a huge deal, but the big deal is that 1080p inputs A and B aren't actually both usable. At any point in time, you can only ever add one or the other to your stream layouts. You have to go in and manually choose when you're not streaming which one is being used. And there's a notice that issues are caused if you have both connected with active signals at all. So why is the second one even here? You'd be better off with a basic HDMI switch, not even a video broadcast friendly one. The mystery goes deeper as we look at that lone fader on here. The fader itself, the feeling of it sliding up and down, the markers marking arbitrary progress one way or the other, all of this identically resembles an audio fader or slider on a mixer or even the Go XLR. But it's not, it's for transitions. This is actually a T-bar, but Cooler Master decided to swap off the T-bar of the product that they're rebranding here to an audio fader. I would imagine this would have been a decision to make the more game streamers that aren't used to real broadcast gear seem more familiar, but it's a weird decision regardless. Well, let's set this bad boy up and start streaming then. My first goal was to get a measure for quality. You download an iOS app to control this via your iPad. I use my iPad Pro 2020. But there's compatibility for a range of iPads. If you have a Lightning one, however, you will need a special adapter to buy. It's not included. In fact, the USB-C to USB-A cable that is included is apparently super special for this purpose to allow the Stream Engine to connect as a USB attachment device, rather than like plugging your iPad into your computer, and other USB cables won't work, and this one won't work for other purposes. Good thing Cooler Master did absolutely nothing to make this cable distinctive or stand out from every other USB-C to A cable you own, so if you ever get it mixed up, good luck! Unfortunately, despite taking wall power, this device cannot charge the iPad while connected either, so expect your battery to drop quick. The slot for the iPad is really small. No case can be used with it, not even the basic thin folio cover. But it doesn't go deep enough to hold the iPad well, so if you even bump into it, your iPad is flying forward out of it. Ouch. Running their app, albeit both the app and manual full of weird typos and language things, is mostly straightforward. You can configure your scenes, swap inputs, add super basic PNG graphic overlays, crop and resize sources, and so on. Then you connect to Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, or enter your custom RTMP server details because neither the Twitch nor YouTube login would even load in my case, and then set your resolution and bitrate. And here's where we run into another limitation. This device can only stream up to 1080p 30 FPS. No 1080p 60. Weird. Not a huge deal, right? 720p 60 at 8 megabits per second to Twitch should look great, right? Right? What is this mess? During my first couple waves of testing, I noticed that the output bitrate fluctuated all over the place, and streaming services work best with a consistent, constant bitrate. So I reduced it to 6 megabits per second in case Twitch was telling it to slow down or something. Still fluctuating. Okay, let's give 1080p 30 a go too, I guess. Wait. I'm sorry, what? I tried different sources, 2 different wired points of connecting to my network, different resolutions and bit rates. This device cannot maintain a constant bit rate for some reason, and it cannot maintain a solid frame rate whatsoever. If I'm targeting 60, it sure as heck is not hitting that with random hitches and stutters frequently showing up, and if I target 30, it's not even close. This is just bad. Plain and simple, bad. The only other review available of this device at the time of creating this review also showcases the same frame rate hiccups, only the reviewer brushes it off as more than good enough. Sorry, but no, it's not. At all. I reached out to Cooler Master to confirm that they know this is a problem and will update here should they have anything useful to add. Beyond that, the control to customize scenes felt really slow and limiting. Playback is super laggy and choppy in the previews, and the transition fader thing is not accurate in timing. You can leave a transition halfway done like a proper T-bar, which is nice, but the change between scene to scene is very much delayed compared to your physical movement, so good luck if you're trying to be precise with it somehow. It was at this point that I just had to give up on the Stream Engine, especially after checking the price and seeing that Cooler Master has this brick listed for $968. Excuse me. Virtually any streaming PC you could build for this price could wipe the floor with performance and quality here. You could probably make it pretty small too, just obviously not this small. Okay. Now that bombshell has been dropped, let's reveal what's behind the smoke and mirrors. Cooler Master did not design or originally manufacture this thing at all. This is not a product from Cooler Master. In fact, they're not even the first to ask me to review it. I was asked to review this product at least twice before Cooler Master asked me to. First in January of 2020 by Aten, calling it the Streamlive HD UC9020 and selling it for $990. Secondly, in October of 2020 by IO Gear, calling it the Upstream Pro and selling it for $650. I do believe someone else reached out to me in late 2019 or early 2020 with the same thing, as well as I distinctively remember declining it as I didn't yet have an iPad to use with it. These models still have the proper T-bar for transitions, as it should be at least. They have their different logos. Cooler Master just went with the weird glowing outline of their logo here in this massive wasted space on the left, but otherwise these are the exact same product, with different apps for the different companies. While some reviewers like to really go after companies for this kind of thing, I'm generally pretty lenient about a company making their first entry into a product category designed by someone else. This is something that they can learn from and gauge market interest and so on. But this was a mess. The Stream Engine had the potential, for those with an iPad at least, to replace the need for a streaming PC and provide easy to control video mixer for streamers at home or at events, but this fails to really deliver usability in any category. The bright side here is that this thing costs $1,000, so it's unlikely that anyone will be able to, or willing, to take a risk on it and be burned by this thing. Product links will be in the description below. As always, consider watching this video on my new favorite audio mixer, and remember, be kind, rewind.